The WYcast is made possible by people going on the ExP homepage, www.exp.uk, and buying my albums on vinyl and CD and getting merch as well. So big thanks to everyone who has. And if you enjoy these podcasts, please consider helping out by going and buying some. Hello, and welcome to the second series of the WYcast. I'm ExP, a hip-hop musician based in West Yorkshire, WY. I made a decision in the last year or so that I should invest time in helping promote and support the West Yorkshire hip-hop scene that I know and love so well. A scene which has supported my involvement in music for over 2 decades. Yes, I am that fucking old. Last season I spoke about my wish to talk to those involved in hip-hop in West Yorkshire, and I said I'd expand my search out to soul and jazz as well, but a spreadsheet I've inevitably put together puts the number of active MCs and producers in West Yorkshire at approximately 200, and I'm finding out about new people every week. Therefore, at this rate, this will probably be a West Yorkshire hip-hop specific podcast for at least the next 7 years? If you're an active and involved West Yorkshire hip-hop artist, I will want to speak to you at some point and find out what it's all about for you. There's not much method to who I choose to get on, but I insist on doing these outside, so there's West Yorkshire scenery in the background where possible. And the weather has absolutely trolled me in a lot of cases. I'm meeting people I have a lot of history with and people I barely know, all with the intention of connecting WY hip-hop artists and giving you, the listener, a chance to know the people behind the great music they make. And on this episode, it's Oliver Rees. An incredible musician in general, incredible guitarist, incredible producer, incredible rapper, and he's only really come on my radar in this last 12 months probably. A talent in WY that we need to be really excited about, and a lot of people already are. In my infinite wisdom, I decided to do this at Leeds train station, and he went along with it, bless him. But I had to go and get a contractor ID, which said I was a train enthusiast in order to be able to film down there. And then it was really hot, and trains were going past the whole time, obviously, and they were really fucking loud. I don't know why I didn't think they would be, but I think I managed to get them out of the mix mainly, but hopefully it adds a bit of atmosphere. Anyway, it's a sick chat. Big up to Oliver Rees for coming through, and I hope you can enjoy it. Oliver Rees, how the hell are you?
I'm good, thank you very much.
It's great to see you, man. I'm very good. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me at Leeds train station. It was an absolute debacle, and to be fair, we could have done something a bit easier, but I got the contractor license saying I'm a train enthusiast, so the things I do for this WYcast, man, ridiculous. Bro, it's an honour to have you on, and like, you're a bit of a phenomenon, and it's strange because I feel like I didn't know fuck all about you in 2023, and in 2024, it's the Oliver Rees show in WY.
Yeah,
I think bro, like, I do origin stories with everyone, so it's important to me to kind of get an idea. So what's your birth year, first of all? When were you born?
1996.
It's 96, so you are young as fuck officially. That's fucking cool, man. And where were you born? Where were you brought up?
Well, I was born in Birmingham.
Nice.
Then when I was 2, moved to Oklahoma.
Sick.
in the US.
Yeah.
And then lived there till like 2003, so literally just before I was about to turn 8.
Yeah.
Came back, moved to a place called Loughborough.
Yeah.
And in that sort of area in the East Midlands is where I spent my time until I moved to Leeds in 2017.
2017. So where did the hip hop bug come in for you then, man?
Well, originally, I played music all my life.
Yeah. You got musical upbringing?
Not a musical upbringing, but I started playing violin when I was really young.
What? Who got you into that?
Well, my brother started playing when we were in America.
Yeah.
Probably when I was like about 2, and then I would just go along to his lessons, and then they got me like a pretend violin, which is like a wooden balsa wood sort of frame of a violin.
Yeah, I've seen them.
And so I would just kind of pretend to play. And then started taking lessons myself when I was like 4.
Yeah.
And then did recitals and stuff like that. And
Mad.
Yeah, did that sort of thing.
Were you like prodigy with it? Were you like mad good or?
I wasn't that good.
Yeah.
But I played, and then I carried that on over when I got to the UK again, and played like just standard. I wasn't anything special on the violin, but played in orchestras and stuff like that.
Nice.
And but for the hip hop thing, when I would say I was about 9 or 10, my brother had a friend who like gave him a USB stick stock full of tracks, and it was like a range of stuff. There was some like classic rock and stuff, and some sort of like I guess like new metal type stuff. But then there was a load of hip hop on there as well.
Yeah.
So Wu-Tang.
Sick. Which
like
era
that,
Wu-Tang? Was it 36 Chambers or Forever, or do you remember? Just
I think it was a bit of everything, to be honest.
All right, cool.
So it was a bit of everything, to be honest, and there was a bit of Public Enemy on there as well, if I remember correctly.
Sick.
But yeah, that's kind of what got me into it a little bit, and then also just then going down YouTube rabbit holes, and then obviously when you at the time in the UK, I guess this was like 2005, 2006 ish.
Yep.
When I started, you know, YouTube hits, and then you can just kind of just search stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I would just go and look for things like that, and then like figure things out. And obviously, you just see at school and like I say, I was into before I was into hip hop. I was into like classic rock and like guitar.
Really?
Like I used to play in a couple metal bands and like
metal bands.
Yeah, when I was like a kid.
Crazy.
And so like I wouldn't say I crossed over, but like because I was so into guitar, that was just the type of music that I was into. You know what I mean? Like I loved to hear somebody really shred the guitar.
Amazing.
So, but yeah, then I guess about 9 or 10 starting to slowly get into hip hop and that, and then as time went on, started writing just stuff, lyrics and stuff in my school planner and stuff.
Yeah.
On the back of my school books and stuff, and then that was probably started when I was like 14. Yep. And then just went on from there.
Mad.
Yeah.
Because you're an unbelievable guitarist as well, because I've played with you. You've joined me in Jam Attorney. I've been lucky to have had you a few jams in that. And you're unreal with it, man. Like, it's like, who did you get? You get compared to the Isley guitar vibe, Fricini, I think. I mean, it's just, and it's right as well, man. Like, was that something that, was guitaring something that came alongside like violin and stuff, or was it just something you always loved? Like?
Basically, I was like, as soon as I heard Jimi Hendrix, I was like, forget the violin. Because I was like, I wasn't a high level on the violin. I was kind of like medium, sort of like, I can play stuff, but like, I couldn't like improvise to any particular level or like really compose any of my own stuff on the violin.
You haven't, usually a violin, you have to just learn a load of other people's pieces. That seems
it was
to be like the rule
a mixture
of
of like learning classical stuff and then like theme tunes, like, you know what I mean? Like, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, stuff like that. That's kind of what it's like when you're that age on the violin. And when I heard Jimi Hendrix, basically my aunt had gifted me a Jimi Hendrix and a Deep Purple CD.
Dope.
And so I was just like, I just liked the sound of it. I just liked the sound of the overdriven and distorted guitar, and then just like, I just loved to hear shredding.
Yeah.
When I was growing up as well, the other thing is that my parents listened to kind of a range of music, so like mainly classical jazz and like classic rock. Sick. And then on my mum's taste was quite eclectic with like some lovers rock, reggae stuff, and then mixed in with all that other stuff. And then but they were, you know, they had some interesting music taste, like a lot of 80s stuff. My dad was a bit of like, he was into like jazz heavily, so I'd listen to a lot of jazz, and that's kind of where listening to people play sax and you know, intricate piano and stuff, that kind of tied over into when I wanted to play guitar. I was like, I'm not really a rhythm guitar guy.
Nah,
like,
you
I
want to play
the fiddly stuff, like that's just because it reminded me of that sort of sax stuff and like the intricate piano stuff.
Nice.
And so basically my dad was into like he was a big sci-fi guy, so he was into like Jean-Michel Jarre and stuff like that.
Damn.
And Vangelis. And so like I was always kind of had this sort of like affinity for like sci-fi and sort of like spacey sounds.
Nice.
And when I started playing guitar, the first like couple of years I was self-taught, but then I got a teacher who was like a phenomenal teacher. Like, there's a long waiting list to get this guy. Like, he was a serious teacher.
Yeah.
And he was big on Joe Satriani and Steve Vai.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are obviously heavily influenced by the sort of like sci-fi elements and the sort of alien sounds and things like that.
Right, right.
So it kind of all just kind of made sense for me to like, he was big on, you know, I already knew some a decent amount of music theory and stuff from playing the violin.
Yeah.
And obviously doing a little bit of music at school. But then the guitar teacher that I had was very much like, you know, he wasn't messing around. Let's just put it this way. He wasn't messing around. There was no shortcuts or easy things. Like, it's like, this is what we're gonna learn, and like, we're gonna learn it by hook or crook. Do you know what I mean? Like,
And how old were you when you were like with that guy? Like,
so I started at, I think, 12.
And you weren't, because some things about like when you're getting taught, like, well, when I was being taught piano, I went through so many teachers because I just was not focusing. Were you able to just like give it 100% with? Because obviously sounds like he's like a no nonsense guy, like, you know.
Well, here's the thing. So at the start, because I'd already just been self-taught, like I would get the Total Guitar magazines and like learn riffs from there, go on Ultimate Guitar and Total Guitar tabs. There are various different tab websites which I would consult to try and learn stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And then like I'd obviously try and buy like tab books and like songbooks and stuff from bands that I liked and things like that. But by the time I started the lessons, like I just really wanted to be good at the instrument.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn how to play the instrument really good.
Yeah.
So I was focused, but again, like I say, it's his teaching method as well, which was that like,
perfect.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't practice, he's not only he's gonna know, he's gonna be like, he's gonna take it personally.
Yeah. Well, you obviously don't want it enough, innit? Like,
Like, he would take it personally if you waste his time, or if you're late. He'd take it personally.
On some whiplash shit.
No, not
as bad as all
not
that.
physically, but I remember at times thinking, like, I didn't know he was going to rap like this. Sometimes if I'd be late or occasionally, because there's a long waiting list as well, occasionally I would miss a lesson. Well, this is later on. I'll get to that anyway. That's kind of later on. But anyway, I was very focused at the beginning. And I would practice a lot. And he would very much push me to try and get better with the instrument at a pace which he thought that I was able to physically, right? So
and pushing you.
I felt like he contributed hugely to my understanding of the instrument.
Wow.
And understanding sort of like how to get what I wanted to hear out of the instrument. And like, it was a very sort of technical process.
You still in touch with him now?
No, I'm not in touch with him.
Because he'd be well proud, surely.
Well, like I say, I'll get to that anyway. But so basically, for a few years, because this is like, I started when I was 12, did lessons with him for a couple of years. And then obviously by the time I was 14, I was kind of had a lot of other things going on in my life, and I was doing a lot of other things, which were like, I would still love to play the guitar, but I was like, it's not at the top list of priority of things that I want to do in my spare time.
14's a tough time in anyone's book, man.
So I still love to play the guitar, but I didn't have the same commitment to turning up and to practicing the specific things I was supposed to be practicing.
I get you.
And so I just ended up kind of I missed too many. I missed too many.
That's a shame.
And I remember turning up one time. It's not that, I can't remember exactly how it fizzled out. Long story short, in those sort of years, like I ended up getting into quite a lot of trouble and ended up having to go to different places.
Really?
And go and, my whole sort of schooling was kind of interrupted because I had to go to different places and attend different things, and basically it was just I was unable to continue the lessons. But I remember the last major memory I have of it is that I turned up one week and he was basically like, just talk to me like an adult, like, last week I was in this room at this time, it's cold, it's like in the back of he had like on the back of his house, he had like an outhouse where he would do the guitar stuff in, like a studio. He's like, I was sat in here for 40 minutes, he didn't turn up, like, what the fuck's going on type of thing.
Wow.
Right, and I was just like, trying to make up excuses, but like obviously I was off doing X, Y, Z, and he knew he's not stupid, like he knows what's going on. And that's the kind of the major memory I had. And that's one thing, I don't have a regret of it because it's just like how it is.
You were young, man.
There was a myriad of reasons as to why I couldn't really continue. But I would have liked to have carried on or just stayed in touch with him a little bit.
Because obviously a sick guy, man. Like,
I mean, I you know, I can only, because he's the only, I did have another guitar teacher later, through college. who was just completely naff.
Yeah.
Completely naff. And it's not even a knock on him, but he was like, I tell you, some people, if anybody's listening who knows me, you may know who this guitar teacher is.
Right.
If you went to the same college as I for music.
Yeah.
But the guy's like, he has a particular way that he wants things to be done, but he's not really giving you any particular reasons. And he wanted to teach me. So his basically thing was like, oh, you think you're so good at the guitar and you want to play all this shreddy stuff. I'm going to make you play this really like basic stuff like out of principle. And I was just like, bro. Only reason I can play anything complex is because I know the basic stuff already, right?
Yeah,
and also, he was the type of guy who, he actually, I think, wanted to be some sort of star, right? Because we do, at college, we'd have like performances every Wednesday.
College in Birmingham, this is, by the way.
No, this is Loughborough.
Loughborough, sorry, carry on.
My mum would get up and be the lead singer. I'd see him be the lead singer and he's singing his heart out and thing as the front man of like what should be the student band.
Yeah. Just
one of
to
the student
have a
bands.
format to
And
do
I'm
it
like,
in, like
bro,
a stage.
Don't try and teach me guitar, bro. Chase your dreams. You go and chase your dreams somewhere.
Yeah.
And like, but he used to get vexed because it was part of the college. I didn't opt to do it. It was part of the college program. Is that if you were doing music performance, you would have to have a lesson of your instrument once a week at a certain time.
Yeah.
And then he'd just be chasing me. It was like, I don't know, it was like a bad movie. Like, he would be chasing me around the place trying to nail me down. Like, you need to have this lesson. And I'm like, all right. And then he'd schedule it, I just wouldn't go. And then he'd be like, why didn't you go? He's like, we need to schedule another. And I'm like,
fuck.
If you don't know by now that I ain't turning up to these lessons,
then
I don't know what to tell you. But that was a whole different other thing about, it's not like I was turning up to any of the other lessons at the college either.
No.
So,
I think a lot of the conversations I've had with people, everyone's obviously creative that I've had a podcast with so far, and it's such a similar story. Around that age, in whatever way, like, a creative mind takes you in so many different directions because, like, the world isn't built for that mindset, I think. So you end up, like, getting into all sorts of mischief just because.
Well, the thing is as well, like, I don't want to make any excuses, like, I should have, if somebody had told me, or like I had realized that I could be decent at music or whatever else, and like you should try and make some sort of career out of it or whatever, pay more attention to this side of you.
Yep.
Then I probably wouldn't have gone down all the other routes that I went down. But it's, like I say, it's only myself. It's only sort of like my responsibility. I should have known that, but I was more interested in doing everything else. It wasn't about being creative because I was still creative. I think about a lot of the other things that I was doing. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't abandon my creativity. I was just like, I want to be doing these things.
That left brain was alive regardless.
I'm not too worried about the music.
Yeah.
Whereas I should have just been more worried about the music.
Fully. So we're going back to, you started to write bars in your jot after 10, 12 or whatever. When was
about 14.
14 word. So when was the first time you were like recorded something you spat on, and had you made the beat for it already, or was production later?
Yeah, I mean, I used to, because I was playing guitar before this, I would actually just record. I would record from a really young age on like GarageBand.
Dope.
Guitar stuff. And I think put like a couple of videos on YouTube, like probably like 2007 or something.
Wow.
2008. I don't know where.
12.
I don't know if they're still up there or not. But I was aware of recording music, and like even when I was at school, there would be some sort of level of recording going on there, right?
Yeah.
So obviously when I started, because I was into hip hop by this point already, like by the time I was doing music at school and that, I would make sort of beats in inverted commas on GarageBand at that stage. But like when I got to like 14, 15 and I'd been writing some lyrics, that's when I was like, you know what, I wanted to get something that I could play pads on. Yeah. Because I saw Arab music and I was like, yo, the way he's playing the pads live like that.
Dope as hell. It looks so good.
I wanted to be able to do that, and I feel like I could be quite good at it. So I got an MPK Mini.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would make beats like that from like 15, 16.
Nice.
And then I'd put, so about 16 is when, 15, 16, I would start recording myself. And then, about 15, 16, I would start putting things out on SoundCloud, like just really rough tracks, and then just like seeing how they did and that. But
yeah. And rapping like you are now, American accent, or like you are now, like what's your own voice sort of thing? Straight
I mean, when I first wrote lyrics, but you got to bear in mind, I actually did have an American. I grew up in Oklahoma, innit?
Oh,
so
of course,
I did
yeah.
have an American accent.
So you did have one as a kid.
But obviously, when you move to the UK, when I moved to the UK, it's a bit of a chicken or the egg thing. But like, you're the odd one out, so like you're trying to sound. And I was in Leicestershire, so it's like people have quite a specific accent where they say the vowels in a specific way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and no one had ever given me a nickname before, right? As in, they would say, so people would say, Ole, right?
Ole.
So this air, and the way they say the vowels, quite interesting. So I found that, I was like, I'm not really going to be able to do that. I've got an Oklahoma accent.
Wow, you were full Oklahoma,
I had an
yeah?
Oklahoma
I'd
accent.
love to hear that.
So this Ole thing, it was completely like,
Ole.
I didn't get it. But I would try and get like as close to an English accent as I could.
Right.
And so, I
Just
don't
to
know if
kinda
it's
fit
chicken or
in.
the egg. Did I genuinely get a British accent? Or is it just by habit of trying to like put it
Yeah.
on and like sound as normal as possible? I don't know. But by the time I started writing, I still would rap in kind of like a hybrid thing.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. By the time I'd started recording, I was just using my normal
Your normal
speaking
voice, whatever
accent.
that is,
Yeah.
which is cool that your voice is sort of an amalgamation of all that upbringing, being in Oklahoma and then Leicester and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
Like, there's no
yeah.
Birmingham left in there, I'd say. I
Well,
can't
there's
hear
no.
any Birmingham.
When I was in Birmingham, like there would be, I probably knew about 10 words. You know what I mean? Because I left Birmingham when I was 2.
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah.
So like,
What were your parents? What were their accents, or were they quite down the line?
my mum had a Brummie accent. But
Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't, by that point, I don't know because I was so young. But like,
Yeah.
she didn't. She doesn't now. Like she doesn't have a Brummie accent now.
Yeah, yeah.
Depends who she's talking to, but like
Yeah.
sometimes when she's talking to her family, you can.
It'll come
I can
out.
tell, or someone from Birmingham, if they're listening closely, they can tell.
Yeah, of course.
But you can't really tell. She's got a fairly sort of just like
Yeah, normal,
nondescript
yeah. My
British
parents have got that as
accent,
well, yeah.
But my dad had like a fairly nondescript accent. He grew up in like Chester, went to school in like Chester and then Wales.
Oh, okay, nice.
So his kind of normal accent, but like obviously, when I was in Birmingham, obviously all the family in Birmingham had quite strong Birmingham accents.
Yeah.
In America, obviously everybody in Oklahoma, there's a few different accents in Oklahoma. It's not as, some of it's not as southern as you'd think.
Right.
But it's like, I had what I would class as a bog standard Oklahoma accent when I came back over here.
I imagine that as like drawl. Hi, y'all. That's what I've got in my head.
Yeah, kind of, but like I say, some of it is
I
less.
tried to get him to do it, everyone.
No.
That's not a thing.
People
I'm not
ask me.
getting Oliver
The
Rees
thing
doing
is,
that. Like a
I'm
Homer
actually
accent.
not that good at accents.
Oh,
I'll tell
really?
you.
Even if it was your own at one point.
I'm actually not that good at accents, and I would like to be, but I'm just not.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, I would do it.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same way as people say, here's the thing, I can do accents, right? But they sound better to me than they sound to other people. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I just
fair
don't want to embarrass myself.
Fair enough, brother. So let's back to making beats on GarageBand, and then got some bars to him. So you put some, and you recorded and put some stuff on SoundCloud potentially in 2000. And what did you say? 6 or something?
No. I
18.
recorded some YouTube stuff like with the
12,
guitars, like
2012.
2000 and I probably put some stuff on, but somewhere between 2006 2008.
Right.
When I started putting stuff, the raps on SoundCloud, probably like
12ish, 30.
2019.
Oh,
I didn't start rapping
right.
until I was 14. Remember?
Oh, okay, word.
So
right.
like, I would say like 2010.
Oh yeah, word. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I meant 2012, but yeah.
20
yeah.
maybe 2009. But I don't think so.
Right,
Yeah.
damn. And so what? Because when did you move to Leeds then?
2017.
17. And what was the reason for coming?
Well, my parents. Well, here's the thing. In like 2015, I think, my dad came up here for work. So he was up here for work like half the week.
Yeah.
Working at the university,
Oh, sick.
and then in 2017, my mum moved up with him. My brother was like at university at that point,
Yeah.
and so I hung around down there. Doing various business and that, yeah. And then I just was like, eventually, towards the end of 2017, I was like, you know what? I've probably had enough of this place. Like, I've had my fill.
Yeah.
I've had my fill down there. Let me go up, see what's going on in Leeds.
Yeah.
I've got, my parents are living up there.
Yeah.
Let's go see what's going on up there.
Nice. Did you have any friends or anything already up here, or people you knew up here?
There was a few people I knew who were up there from university.
Yeah.
From where I used to live, and I'd been there a couple of times for like house parties and things like that. So
Sick.
I'd been to Leeds before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a few people who I knew, but
So
not
like 21
not Leeds locals.
Yeah, yeah. So age 21, you go, right, we're having it in Leeds.
Yeah,
And
I was
since
like,
then-
it's time for a fresh start.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's like I'd had my fill down there. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So how have you found that? So by the time you moved up to Leeds, then were you like regularly producing and recording and putting
No.
no, you weren't ready with that yet.
In the years between like when I was 17 to when I was 21,
yeah. Not really.
there was no music getting made.
Damn.
No music getting made at all.
Yeah.
There was 2 tracks that I did with a friend of mine called Bassi, aka DJ Mango.
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
we did.
You're
like,
DJ.
Yeah, but we
Sick.
did like 2 tracks at like a pirate session, and then I just put them out on SoundCloud. But that's the only thing that I did in that sort of period of time.
Yeah.
Other than that, I wasn't doing any music. Like
So
I
what?
would play guitar sometimes, but at the same time, like
What the priority?
it wasn't a priority, and I just had a bad habit of like getting really nice guitars and then not playing and end up selling them for like
Damn.
dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know. There's some guitars which I had, if I had them today, I mean, not only would they be worth good money, but like they were just really good
Play
guitars,
beautifully,
which I
yeah.
ended up selling for like a couple $100, which they're worth a lot of money.
Yeah, fully.
yeah.
Man, that's a bit
But
talk
that's a
about
regret,
regrets.
that's a regret.
That's a regret. Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
regret.
But like,
I remember when I was about 14, yeah.
Yeah.
I won't go into too many of the details, but I was like, let me start some business, right? And I took the guitar I had at the time to cash converters.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was not old enough to sell this cash. Got some random guy to go in,
Yeah.
sold it, started, trying to do some business,
Yeah.
and long story short, obviously, during that same period, and that's when I ended up getting sent off to this, that, the other place, and this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Getting in various parts of trouble. So I was completely like, if I'd just not done that and kept the guitar, just like tried to do something with that,
You'd have done
things
better.
may have been different. But
Yeah.
like, it is what it is.
So when you were in Leeds, then what made you fucking get back to it? Then what made you get back to music? Or
Well,
who?
in 2017, right at the end of 2017, I ended up getting ill and was in hospital, and ended up being in a couple different hospitals, and was like,
Damn.
there was a woman in there who was like, oh, my son is. There was a worker in there who was working there.
Yeah.
Who was like, my son owns a record label.
Yeah.
In Sheffield, or somewhere near Sheffield, and she'd heard me play guitar and do like some bars.
Yep.
On the ward, and she was like, obviously it's, I can't really give you, can't really give you too many details because it's like there's a conflict of interest, right?
Okay.
But she gave me enough details so that I could go and contact the label,
Yeah.
send them some sort of, I can't remember if I sent them some of the earlier tracks I did or what,
Yeah. Yeah.
but ended up coming out of hospital, going to meet with them,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, they were just like, yeah, okay, cool, let's make some music, put some music out.
Primarily, what, your rap stuff, your guitar stuff, but both.
The
What?
rap, well, it was the rap stuff, but then I would do a couple other things with the label, like playing guitar for bands that they had on the label and some guitar stuff.
Yeah. Man, crazy. So, and you were doing that for a good few years while you were in Leeds, or what? Was that not
For
last that long?
like a year, for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, like I say, one of the guys was really sound, the other guy just ended up being a bit of a plonker.
Right.
So like, the one guy I still have a lot of respect for, the other guy not so much.
Not so much. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Basically end up in a long situation where the guy's like, there was just a lot of there was a conflict of he told me this. I don't want to go too much into it.
Okay,
Yeah?
I understand.
The guy was basically like, you ain't that good at guitar. All this sort of rubbish.
Man,
he's like,
you've had some doubters in your career, bro.
yeah,
What the hell?
no, but this guy was like, I wouldn't usually take something like that personally, But there was an other guy who, if he's watching this, he knows who he is. And I don't have anything against you, but there was another guy who'd been playing guitar for like a year. I was in the studio with him, and then the guy's like, you know what, I think this guy could play this lead bit better than you. This guy's been playing for a year. And I was like...
Jeez. You don't
in my
need
head,
that.
In my head, I was like, bro, I usually wouldn't take something like that personally, but because of the other sort of situations that were going on, I was like, you know what? This guy's lost the absolute plot. He's absolutely lost the plot.
Yeah.
He's saying that this guy... And I'm not a really competitive guy like that. But I'm like, yo, this guy's been playing a year. You're saying that this guy who's been playing a year is going to play this lead line or whatever better than I can play. I've been playing at that point at least 12 years or something.
Yeah.
And that was kind of in my head. I was like, you know what, this ain't gonna work. Like this whole thing is not gonna work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up devolving quite quickly after that into like disputes over rights and things like this, and contracts and that.
Fair enough.
And I was like,
nah, I don't need that.
I was like,
in your life.
take all. I just had to get a little bit like, you know what I mean? Let's not go down this road. Let's not go down this road. And then, to be fair to him, he was like, cool, I'll take this stuff down.
Yeah, fair enough. Nice.
But, yeah.
So
the other guy, by the way, was really nice guy.
Yeah.
The guy who actually was the son of the lady who introduced me to
the
the
first
label.
guy who got introduced you.
He was absolutely sound. Like, can't fault him at all. Like, he's still. I don't know if he's still involved in music, but like, he's a solid guy.
Sick. Nice. So what years were that? Were that like 17, 18, do you say?
Yeah.
So
no, that was like 18. That was in 2018, I think.
Right, okay. Because, bro, like, sort of fast forwarding, as I was saying at the start of the podcast, I'm like, where the fuck did this guy come out of? Like, because you seem to be like 0 to 60, I don't know, your name was everywhere all of a sudden.
Right.
And like, I was like, it was unbelievable to see, to be fair. Like, you would just seem to be doing all the sets and all the shit. And then I'm like, I was only talking to H&M the other day, and I realised that you guys had done a project together, and that was quite a while ago. When did you kind of get introduced to working with different producers and MCs in the scene, like? And how? Who was, like, showing you around, or was it just you finding your way through everyone?
Do you mean Leeds specifically?
Yeah, Leeds specifically.
Okay, so... in that 2018, kind of when I was still doing stuff with that label, one of the things that they were like, one of the things that my manager in the label at the time was like, yo, you need to go to open mics and just do loads and loads of open mics. And I was like, and to be honest, that was probably the best piece of advice he gave me.
And that was that same label? Yeah.
So I would go up and down the country doing open mics.
Right.
Everywhere.
Jumping on everything?
Everything. Like, I would do 5 a week. Like.
Wow.
I would do a lot of open mics.
I've always thought that would be a good idea.
It's a good idea. Put it this way. I'm not Freddie Mercury, but like I can get my bars out on stage, right?
Yeah, of course.
And before, I wouldn't class myself as a shy person, but like, I'm more of the kid, like I grew up spitting bars on the park, like to a few mates.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd played to crowds like with bands, and like I'd actually performed live quite a few times in front of crowds. And when I was a kid, obviously did the orchestra stuff and recitals in America. Yeah. But doing the open mics where like, especially because I wasn't anywhere near as like accomplished as an MC. Yep. To really have, like, I had confidence, but I was like, I had probably more confidence than how well I could perform. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So getting the feedback of like, just doing like what you think is something really hard and people going like,
not feeling
next type of thing was really good.
Right, was
because
good
I was like, okay, you don't like that, then let me come back with something that you
appeal
like.
to it. I get
and
it.
And then just doing that up and down the country, doing it to one person, doing it to 5 people, all around the place was really helpful.
Wow.
And long story short, when I came, you know, because I would do a lot around Leeds. There's some around Leeds. To be honest, there was more around Leeds that had nothing to do with hip. Most of the ones I went to had nothing to do with hip hop.
Nearly
like,
all.
I remember doing one at the White Swan in Yedden.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know if you heard of a group called the Dunwells. Some group called the Dunwells. Right. I think they're a pair of brothers. They're like a indie rock band, type of like, I don't know how to describe them, but an indie rock band, I believe. Yeah. But one of those brothers ran this open mic up there. I went up there, and yeah, it was a real, like I say, just things like that were really experienced because it's like me, a few singer-songwriters, and then like just a bunch of wine drinkers. And then you're just like, I'm gonna rap for you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, that'll put you out of your comfort zone, but also I think it's really important that hip hop is played to motherfuckers who aren't there to listen to hip hop. Too often, especially around here, and it's no one's fault, but like you'll go to a venue and you'll be rapping to rappers. I know have done a couple of sets this year.
It's still often the case. Like it's still often the case, and I don't begrudge it because it's like,
it's great.
You want your peers. You want to be doing things with your peers. Yeah.
Of course, but if your music has to transcend that in order for you to be like a successful artist.
It's the same way as you know, if you go to a gig with a Elcom band, most of the people there are going to be people from Elcom. Most people in the audience are going to be. They're not necessarily going to be a breadth of fan base outside of the people in their immediate sort of Kevin Bacon radius. Do you know what I mean? So. It is what it is, and that's fine, and that's how music grows. It's like concentric circles. Like you have to start what's around you, and then that has to go out like that.
Yeah.
I'm, still trying. What I was going to get to though is, so if you're doing the open mics, and then eventually get into more sort of like, I guess, sort of spoken wordy type ones.
Yeah.
The best one I think I've been to, and I've been to a lot of open mics around the country. The best one was the Sunday Practice.
Sunday Practice, where was that at?
It was when I went there, it was at the Cellar Bar.
Okay. Sunday Practice, was that, did Natalie run that? Is there a girl called Natalie? Who ran that? Do you remember? Don't matter if you don't. Khadija, right.
As far as I know.
Okay, yeah.
You put me on the spot.
No, it's cool. I was just sorry,
I've been to hundreds of open mics up and down the country. That's the best one I ever went to. Like,
what was it about it that was?
They had a
so
house.
good?
The house band was good. They had what they called the Purple Lychee Band. A few great musicians, fairly straightforward, but they would just play behind the spoken word or whatever.
Yeah.
And the setup was just, the hosts were charismatic.
Yeah.
They had some resident poets.
Dope.
A few which I've become really good friends with.
Sick.
And it was just the right amount of organised to chaos. Like you'd have to put your name down, and then that's how they'd come up with the order. Like you had to get there at a certain time to put your name down. That.
Yeah.
It was just a phenomenal open mic. Right?
Damn.
And
still going? Do you know?
I believe the last one was earlier this year.
Last ever? Oh, last.
Well, for what?
For my knowledge,
was
you
the
understand.
last one.
Yeah.
That was the best one that I went to, and I went to several times between I guess it wasn't that long. When the first one I went to was probably 2018, so I guess 2020, COVID, etc. So I went to a few over that year or two, and then but then obviously because there was other rappers there and stuff.
I see.
Just kind of getting to know people through the open mic thing. And
who rocked up there? What rappers? Can you name any Leeds rappers that rocked up to that one?
I can't remember off the top of my head who, because it kind of blends in because, again, from the end of 2017, I'd sort of started putting stuff on Instagram because, I'm not a social media guy.
No. It's a necessary evil.
The label said, get an Instagram to promote your music. Otherwise, I would never have got an Instagram. I'm not that type of guy, right?
Yeah. Never
had Twitter or, I had Facebook. I got Facebook because I lost a bet when I was, 14. And then, nothing ever really good has come from anything I've put on Facebook. I'm not the best at
promoting yourself or whatever.
No. Just social media in general. It's just not really my thing. I'm more of a real life.
I totally subscribe to this, brother.
I don't represent myself well over text message. I just don't represent myself well in the digital space.
Whereas in real life, you can back yourself.
In real life, I'm I know how to deal with people in a little bit of a better way, I think. Obviously, it's an uphill battle, but I'm getting better at it. As far as promoting my own stuff.
So necessary, isn't it?
At the same time, people say it's necessary, but it's it's necessary, but if you have one without the other, it's both. You have to be able to go to the show and do your thing properly.
Of course.
And you have to be able to talk to actual people in real life 100. And promote yourself in real life.
Yep.
And if you have just like a great, you know, a lot of people have a huge social media presence and then da-da-da-da-da.
Nah, fuck
But
off.
then you go meet them and you're like, yo, what the heck? Who are you?
This happens all the time to
Who
me,
are
bro.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you?
Yeah. No, honestly, though. No,
It is that, yeah.
You get people who are like, online, especially with rappers, they're talking all sorts of degrees, like, oh, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you meet them like, hi, mate. You know, hi, mate. Yeah,
Awkward as
yeah,
fuck. Not even as nice as that.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. They're like, they just don't know. They've never been outside or something.
Yep.
And it's fair play. Like, I appreciate people want to have a persona online.
Yeah.
Me, I just will say this, like, I'm just like, I have no intention of like putting on some sort of persona online. Like, I just do the stuff that I do in real life and then put it online. Same with like when I put the guitar clips and stuff on. It's just because I've been sat there for hours playing the guitar and I'm like, let me just record some of it. And then put it up.
Do you seem to move in some circles of like, you know, because you did you put a track out with Juga-Naut not that long ago, who's obviously been in the hip hop game, like UK hip hop, and is a big name in UK hip hop, really well respected. And that was a mind blowing, like, oh damn, he's working with Juga-Naut, man. But like, how is it just through like carving out relationships with these dudes, or like, and same with Tremendous and stuff like that? Did you already know him or what?
Well, I'll tell you how I met Juga-Naut, and it goes back to open mic things.
Sick.
I used to go online. There used to be a website, I think it's still probably up there, like Open Mic UK or something like that.
Nice.
And I would just search for open mics. I was living down in the East Midlands at the time.
Yeah.
So I found an open mic in Nottingham. I did a few in Nottingham.
Yeah.
One of them was at the Yarn Bar. And it was hosted by Juga-Naut. It was Juga-Naut sing at the Yarn Bar. Yarn Bar. I hadn't heard of Juga-Naut before. When I saw that it was his event, I looked him up and I was like, oh, this guy's sick.
Yeah.
The production, the bars, everything's sick. Went down there. I just thought it was a normal open mic type of thing.
Yeah.
Spat some bars on the open mic. And then it turned out it was like almost like a competition. So basically, if you, obviously Juga-Naut's the judge, so like, if he likes your stuff the best on the night, he'll pay you then to come down and perform at the next one.
Dope.
To basically do like a short set at the next one.
Yeah.
A paid slot at the next one. So I went down there, spat the bars. I was in the toilet. I just heard a load of commotion. I came out, and then my mate's like, oh yeah, you just won the thing.
Damn!
And then went down there to do the set eventually. Like, it was at the Yarn Bar. It's a cool, quirky little venue.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like part of the town hall. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like part of some sort of larger building.
Yeah.
And yeah, Juga-Naut was just a really sound guy who was very much like a hip hop realist. Like, he was into bars and he's into the old school style. And like, he just recognized that I was kind of on the same page with it.
Yeah.
Somewhere not long after that, he just was like, yeah, I've got a beat here. Because he I would stay in touch with him and he was like, I've got a spare beat here. Take this beat.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it. Like,
and that was
here's a beat. Just do what you want with it. I want you to see you do well.
Yeah.
Here's a beat, right? So that was back in 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
I made a track. The track's called Bloodsport. It's out.
Right.
It's one of my, because of this sort of circumstances and kind of the vibe of it, it's like one of my favorite tracks I've done.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then I just stayed in touch with him. Like a couple of years later, he was putting together an album called Bem, and it's an amazing album. Got to go check it out. There was a track that he wanted me to jump on there. I said 100%. So that things just sort of continued like that.
Yep.
I'm a big supporter of his work. I strongly believe he's the most consistent hip hop artist in the UK by like a country mile.
Right. He's massively respected. No two ways about it.
He's the most consistent.
Yeah.
I think he just puts out the highest quality.
Yeah.
Pound for pound. It's unique. It's heartfelt, but it's also raw.
Yeah.
And it's, you know.
Because quality is an important thing to you, man. I remember talking to you in the studio and you and asking why you maybe didn't go down certain routes with music, and you were like, one thing that really resonated with me, something I believe in and something that I'm constantly told I'm wrong about. Good music is good music, you said, and I was like, yes. That's how I feel about shit. Because some stuff's just whack. Yeah. But like people will get into a vibe just like all this stuff is what we need to be making, and it's like it sounds like shit, and everything sounds the same. Whereas you've always had that persistence to just make good shit, and it sounds good every time. Like,
well, here's the thing as well. it's taste based, isn't it? So it's like my taste of what's good might not be the next person's, right?
No.
And there's some things which I've made which don't sound as good to me 2 years later or whatever else.
Word, yeah, of course.
But I was honest to myself at the time when I put it out
Yeah.
that I thought it sounded good, and that's what I wanted to put out.
Yeah.
So I stand by my decision, even if I think I could have done better or whatever else. It's a progression, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. If something's good, it's good.
Yeah.
If it's whack, it's whack. I will never. You know, there's a saying. It's a sin to support mediocrity.
Word.
Right? So I'm not gonna tell somebody, yeah, that's sick, mate. If it's not sick,
Of course.
I'll be polite and I'll say,
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll find a way to say.
I'll look through my Instagram DMs from you now.
No.
Look for good job.
I'll make it. I won't. If something, and like I say, I don't think that I'm like a critic. I'm not a critic. I don't know what's good.
It's not your job, is it?
I know
It's not
what
you
I
do.
think is good music.
Yeah.
I don't know what good music is. I just know what I think is good music.
Yeah.
Right? So, and also good music. Here's the thing about good music. The Wii theme tune is good music.
The Wii theme tune is good music.
You know what I mean? The Wii theme tune is good music.
Yeah.
So I'm saying not all good music is music I want to listen to.
Ah.
Do you know what I mean? So again, there's people who make good music who I don't want to listen to.
Yeah, I don't want any part of that.
So
Yeah.
there's a whole
Yeah.
different ways to look at it. But like you say, whack is whack and good is good.
Yeah.
But it's case by case. Everyone has their own taste.
Yeah.
Me personally, if I put something out and people think it's whack, I want people to say it's whack.
Really?
I would rather people say it's whack, right?
Then give
Because then I have something to push back against and say, all right,
Yeah.
if that's whack, what about this?
Yeah, I see.
And do the next thing, because I'm not trying to please people, right? But
No.
I appreciate the motivation of being told if something's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's like cooking. I'm a big fan of cooking.
Yeah.
If I give someone one thing about, if any chef will know, like when you've made food for somebody, you want feedback.
Yeah.
You don't want to be told. I don't want to hear no, that's really good. I don't want to hear excellent. I don't want to hear great. I want to hear what about it did you like?
The flavour, the
specifically. Otherwise, how can I improve on? Oh, it's good. It's excellent.
Some people don't have the not the repertoire, but the palate's right, or the way
Same
the
with
descriptive.
music.
They'll just be like, "This is delicious." End
It's the
of,
same
but
with music.
It is the same with music.
The reason I say that is it's the same with music.
That's a great shout.
There's artists. Okay,
Wow.
I've got a small audience, right? So if I put something out and everyone says this is sick, it does nothing for me.
Yeah.
It does nothing.
But if
for
they're
me.
like quoting, "Oh, this specific bar about this and that,"
if
yeah,
they
it's
say,
more detailed.
If they say,
yeah.
I liked this aspect.
Yeah.
Or I like this aspect or this aspect.
Where it made me
it's really
feel or
helpful.
whatever. 100%.
But more importantly, if people say, like, for example, the guy who DJs for me, Mango,
Yeah.
aka Bassi, right?
Yeah.
I've known him for years.
Yeah.
Right? A long time since we were kids, right? And we've made a lot of music together, and like we've done a lot of different various activities together, right?
Yeah.
And if I've put a set list together, I will ask him like what he thinks and he'll say openly like, I don't think this works there or this like that.
Yeah.
And
You
I
wanna hear
need
that.
people like that around
yeah.
who are not just going to say, yeah, man, everything's great.
It's fine. Yeah,
Because
these
it
are all perfect.
doesn't help anybody.
No, of
It doesn't
course
help
not.
anybody.
Yeah.
The same way, like, I might think to myself, oh, I'm a sick rapper. Like, everything I put out's gold. Well, obviously, because taste and, good music is a subjective thing,
Yep.
I might be wrong in 10 million people's eyes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It still might sound great to me, but I need those 10 million people to say, this is what's whack about it. This is why it's whack.
Yeah.
And then I can say, all right, I don't agree, but try this. And then, but I can at least
You can
use it.
move with that.
I can use it then and be like, okay, you didn't like that for that reason. Fair. I respect that. I don't want people to tell me something's good if they don't give me a reason. I don't want people to tell me it's bad if there's no reason given. But give me something to work
I dig it.
with.
I dig it. So speaking of putting stuff out, you've got an album on the horizon, EP on the horizon,
Yep.
Nights in Marrakesh.
Yes.
When's that due out? Soon? Sharp.
It's going to be out in August.
Okay, nice. So almost hand in hand with Hedra House.
Yes.
And the four things that M.A.D are doing. So album or EP? Sorry.
It's an EP, 7-track EP.
Sick. And digital only?
It's going to be digital only, yeah.
What's your thoughts on physical?
I will say.
We need an Oliver
There's a
Rees
potential.
vinyl.
Yeah, there's a potential for me to do a short run of physicals on this.
Yeah. World needs that, I think.
Yeah.
It's funny as fuck, bro, because when you came to my studio for the first time and you were meeting everyone for the first time, you were obviously just casing the joint, casing everyone out, and you weren't necessarily that comfortable, you know what I mean, as a stranger isn't, you know what I mean, getting to know everyone. And as soon as they got onto the subject of food, you were like, oh shit. And
Yeah.
you're out there, you were talking, the cake that Nick brought, you were like wanting to find out about that stuff, and it is really like, it's dope how much you're into it, like
No,
seriously
I have a food
into it.
problem. I have a...
It's not a problem, bro.
No. I'll tell you what my food problem is that like, I'm not diagnosed with OCD, right? But
Well,
I have a lot of
those tendencies.
OCD tendencies.
Word, I get
right?
you. I get you.
And it's the worst when it comes to food.
Is
right?
it? Yeah.
And I don't mean in the sense that I'm picky or like I need things to be extra clean. I mean like, and I don't even mean like, oh, there's ways it should be done and ways it shouldn't be done. What I mean is that if there's something that I want to learn about food, I need to know everything about it.
Wow.
I don't appreciate people who look at a country's cuisine and say, I'm going to go on BBC Food and learn.
Yeah.
If I want to learn about a cuisine or how to cook a dish from a certain place, I need to know the history of the dish.
Yeah.
I need to know why things are used in a dish. What's the cultural relevance of the dish? Let me learn from people who are from that region, who are well-versed in making a dish, and then let me try and perfect the dish in private.
Yeah.
And then I'll bring the dish to the masses, right?
Amazing.
And so, like I say, when that cake, by the way, was beautiful.
Yeah,
that
Nick
cake,
don't mess around with cakes, bro.
And I got the recipe off him.
Yeah.
So I'm yet to try it because bacon is probably my least strong culinary.
It's a different kind of chemistry, innit? It's a different kind of science, innit?
You have to be very exact. But that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the subject of food comes up, my ears are always going to perk up. And yeah.
So you've done your, there was nights in Sofia and nights in Marrakesh. And were they sort of based around visits to those places that you took yourself? Like you went to Sofia and you went to Marrakesh.
Yes.
So, and is that partially a food journey as well when you're out there? Like
I'll tell you something.
Every journey
that I make is a food journey.
It's a journey,
right?
word.
Okay,
I'm down the M1.
So, literally, every journey that I make is a food journey. Right?
Word.
I'll tell you about Sofia first. Okay. So
Word.
In
It's a sick
2020, Bassi, aka DJ Mango, was out in Bulgaria. He had the residency at Sunny Beach.
Nice.
Me and my other friend Jack were supposed to fly out there and see him.
Yeah.
And obviously everything shut down. And like, obviously all the conspiracy theories like, oh, you can't do anything, they're forcing you. I was just like, I think you can just book a flight and go. I don't think there's any, whatever, I don't really listen too tough to conspiracy because I'm like, mate, have you left your house? Like, just do what you're doing, mate. I respect people who like to theorize. I like to theorize, but I'm also realistic. I'm like, people will tell you that everyone was like locked and chained up. Like, we went in July of 2020 to Bulgaria. I didn't need to have any sort of certification other than a test.
Proof of that test.
Showed that I had a test, and then we went to Sunny Beach, had an absolutely ridiculous time out there.
Dope. Was it particularly locked down in Sofia then? Oh, they weren't not really on that.
Let me tell you, we're in Sunny Beach at this point in 2020, right? So not Sofia. Sunny Beach was just a completely different world. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Because there was no real tourists there.
Yeah.
Right. Apart from the staff, there was not really many British people there. So it was like
chilling.
I'm sure if you went to Sunny Beach today or in 2018,
maybe covered in them.
It's all touristy because a lot of other people I spoke to were like, they didn't have that same experience. But obviously, Bassi was working there at a bar on the beach.
Dope.
As a DJ, as a resident DJ.
Too cool.
And all the staff there, obviously, we were acquainted with. So it was just one of those ones where it was a crazy time. Came back the following year, Bassi was still out there, right? And Bassi overstayed his visa.
Oh, shit.
Bassi overstayed his visa by a lot, yeah?
Yeah.
And he would tell you this himself, that he was just chilling. He was just chilling out
having
there,
too much fun.
working from different thing to different thing, going around. Ended up in Sofia in 2021.
Yeah.
So December 2021 comes around. he's kind of like, he doesn't really want to fly back to the UK because
Why would you?
he doesn't know if he's going to get
Oh, I
like,
see.
nicked or what for overstaying the visa. So I say, on a whim, it's like the 23rd of December, I said, let me just buy a ticket. I'm going to go spend Christmas with Bassi in Sofia.
Dope.
Spend some nights in Sofia.
Ah.
So just like sent him a message on Christmas Eve, like, I'm en route. Like,
Damn.
I'm on my way.
Sick guy.
See you when I get there, type of thing.
Yeah.
Met him, had a ridiculous time in Sofia, like, ridiculous time in Sofia.
Yeah.
And then that sort of like was the birth of this Nights Of sort of series. Because I was like, I've got to chronicle some of this a little bit.
I love it.
And there's a lot of inside sort of references, places, people, activities. And I was just like, it's a cool way to do a sort of series.
It
of
really is, man, and it stands out, man. I like it's dope. And also like a soundtrack if you were going to Sofia, you bang that on, wouldn't you? Like it's so cool.
And also, bear in mind, because of the relationships that Bassi had with people out there already, like, it's not like a tourist going to Sofia because
Nah.
Bassi can speak a little bit.
Oh,
like,
is it, yeah?
He can get along in Bulgaria. Like, he lived there for a long time.
Right.
So, like, all the experiences that we had over there both times, they're not really tourist experiences. Because for the most part, we're mingling with locals and we're doing this, that, the other.
Yeah, getting the
we're
real
getting to the
Sofia.
nitty gritty of it, really.
Yeah, of course.
We're getting
the real shit.
We're getting into the weeds with it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we're getting
yeah.
into the back streets.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, it was just, it was a cool thing. And the same, when I went to Marrakesh this year,
Yeah.
I'd already because I knew the theme of the EP. I wanted to be around this. It was just fairly easy. I had some of the production. I had done some of the production before I actually went.
Yeah.
And some after. Same with some of the writing.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, like, I think you asked us about the food. Of like the same way the Nights in Sofia stuff. The food was a big influence on it. Like, there's a bar in the Nights in Sofia track where I'm like, in the hook where it's like, I just left XA to hit up the kebab shop. XA is a club that we went to. It's a big club in Sofia.
Yeah.
We went there on Christmas Day. And then I went and got a kebab after. So like that's
and it's
that
like
went in
relevant
there.
to that.
Yeah.
That's sick, man.
And we were zipping around. When I say, you know how they have the electric bikes here? Obviously, you go to different cities around Europe that have the
Scooters
electric
and that,
scooters.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of Sofia is like cobbles.
Oh,
right?
you can't get on that shit. Man.
Well,
Oh,
you can, right? But like when I say we was taking risks on those scooters, like I was just flying around, eating it, like round corners, drifting around corners, just crashing out onto the cobbles, and like absolutely loving every moment of it.
Yeah.
And
Sick.
yeah, just all of those things informed the experience. And like I say, when I went to Marrakesh this year, sick experience. Had the same sort of thing with the quad bikes. Like me and my mate Ben went out into the desert with the quad bikes and
Yeah,
I was
tore
just
up.
ripping it, mate.
Dope.
I was like, okay. And there's a music video to come, which we'll document some of that.
Dope.
But I was like, let me go to the back of the line, because it's like a long line of us quad bike. Like, let me go to the back.
Yeah.
Let me get a bit of distance, and I'm just gonna rag it. Like, I'm just gonna absolutely rag it. I'm gonna get air. Because they said no drifting. I thought,
I'm drifting.
come
Fuck
on,
you.
mate. We're in the desert, mate. There's drifting, mate. There's drifting. And so I was just hanging back, and then like they would get like, I don't know, 200 meters in front, and I'll just be absolutely digging it. And you just probably see me in a pile of dust, just like literally taking little jumps, doing big skis, but too far away and in too much dust to really tell that I was breaking the rules.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
You were saying, you said a music video then. The quality of your music videos are next level, man. Is that
Thank
because
you,
you've got good people around you, or are you are you OCD directing the hell out of them? Have you got like visions for them? Because one thing I've always said, like I'm, the wrong word, but I'm going to say it anyway. I say I'm visually retarded.
Right.
I can hear things and I can think about things and how music would work. But when it comes to like having an idea of how something should look, I hand over the reins. And fortunately, I've got a really good videographer who's done a lot of my shit. Dave Kilmoney, he's unbelievable. So, and it's just been great. Whereas, are you more hands-on with it, or do you hand over the reins to someone who's like more qualified than you are, or what? Because your last one, where there's two actors, was unreal, man.
Yeah.
Super high level.
So the short answer is it's the direct. It's just having a good team.
A good team.
The director and the guy who I get to do those is really good, very professional, and has a great team.
Yeah.
And I'll just give him a fairly vague description of what I want to do,
And he'll pull that
and then he'll come out with some options, and then we'll go back and forth like that. But most of the good ideas are things which he's expanded on, just from the basic outline of what I've told him.
What about the Marrakesh one that you filmed? Then did he come out? He went out for that. I'm guessing.
Nah,
Is that
that
something
was
you pulled together?
The Stardust video, which is from the Nights of Marrakesh EP.
Yeah.
And will be coming out early August. The video will be coming out early August.
Yeah.
That was just like, I don't know, when will this drop?
This maybe 3 weeks from now. So
Right,
yeah,
okay,
we should be looking about early August as well.
So basically, we're just wandering around the square in Marrakesh.
Yeah.
And I see there's a line of like carriages, horse and carriages, and I was like, you know what? We've been getting some sort of footage just in and around. Like I got some footage of the food, just doing different things.
Yeah.
Some of the quad biking and this that. I said, let me just chat to these carriage guys.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna offer him whatever. Let me take the carriage, or like drive us around the carriage for X amount of time.
Yeah.
So we can get enough takes of the thing.
Yeah.
And so it's basically the entire video is like me on the back of the horse and carriage.
Sick. That'll look dope, I bet.
I think it should look really cool. Yeah. And it's just like literally that.
Nice.
It's literally most of the video is me on the back of the horse and carriage, going through the streets of Marrakesh.
Nice.
Yeah.
So pretty much in closing, bro. But like, I feel like, as I say, I came across you in 2020. This year, it feels like, or back end of last year, and I was already blown away by the ability, what you were making, what you were producing. You've got loads of high-level dudes. I know Luby, who puts on gigs in Leeds, people like him who are just like buzzing off what you do, like production-wise and spitting. And it seems like the world's at your feet, really. What are your hopes for the future? Are you aiming to just build that audience to a point where you are the headline set ahead row people coming out, or what do you want to do with it?
Listen,
because I feel you could do anything with it.
As far as headrow goes, 27th of August, M.A.D Culture are going to be there.
You're headlining it then.
Well, it's not a case of headlining. M.A.D Culture is headlining.
Word.
So it's tremendous. It's Bear. It's myself, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a night to remember. If you're into hip hop at all, you want to support the hip hop scene in the UK, or you're into Leeds hip hop specifically, or you're a fan of any of us as individuals, get down there. It's actually going to be a vibe.
Yeah.
You might win yourself a beat. You know what I mean?
Sick.
You might just have a good time. My goals, I have a couple of goals, right?
Yeah,
I'll share a couple of my goals with you.
Please.
As I said, I don't have a big audience. I have a modest audience, right?
Yeah.
And
but loyal, I bet. Who love your shit, I bet.
I'd like to think so,
Definitely.
but it's small, right? I'm trying to grow my audience, right? But I don't want to grow my audience at the compromise of, the type of things that I put out, right?
100.
So I will not be changing the type of music which I put out in order to gain a larger audience, right? But I will be increasing the quality of music that I put out, increasing the regularity and the consistency, and continue to try and grow my audience. The main thing that's going to be my focus for the coming months and years is going to be M.A.D Culture, because M.A.D Culture is something that we all believe in, and we believe it's the next logical step as far as people see. Some people have there's different stigmas and sort of like weird things around UK hip hop. Like, what is it like? Is UK rap like? What is it?
Yeah.
Right. I know that I like boom bap and I like old school sort of sounding production, and that's how I grew up. Like,
me too.
That's the UK hip hop that I know. Right?
Yeah, of course.
But it's not the be all and end all. Like, and you get artists like Tremendous who bridges the genre boundaries extremely well.
Yep.
And brings a whole new unique set of flows and looks to the thing, right? And provides a context for, okay, it's not just this boom bap thingy, right?
Yeah.
But it can still be that. Like, listen to an artist like Tremendous. She can do it all, right? She can do the old school beats, she can do new school beats. We want M.A.D Culture to represent all the classic things that we love about UK hip hop.
Yeah.
But also a slightly more inclusive sort of model where it's like, it isn't clicky. It's not a clicky thing, right? We are just looking for the best hip hop, right?
Yeah.
We're looking for people also in soul and jazz, right, and R&B. And we want to work with people who share our values, right? Like, which is, we just want a fair, equitable, and responsibly operated music industry to be a part of. Because at the moment, the UK hip hop doesn't exist. Like, there is no music industry infrastructure. There are cliques. There are cliques.
Yeah, of course.
There are individuals who are individually successful, right?
Yeah.
But there is no like actual sort of support network there.
Yeah.
Or real like consistent platform of like, okay, some people who I really admire are Blade and the guys at 521 because they've created a platform for new artists.
Yeah.
And to be able to go on there and showcase their talents and
That's
to be able to have short form interviews and get a bit out about themselves.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be asked down to do that.
Yeah.
And you can check that out on the 521 channel. In the same way as the reason that works, and I'm a fan of that, is because the values that Blade and 521 have, they're very transparent. Like, they just like good music, and more than that, they just want people to have the opportunity to show the world what they have, right?
Yeah.
With M.A.D Culture, okay, Tremendous is that, the highest profile out of us at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. And she is she's tremendous, you know what I mean? Like, for lack of a better term, yeah? So like, she doesn't have to do this, right?
No.
She doesn't have to do this, but she believes in this. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
She believes that this is something which will work and something which we can parlay to greater things internationally within Europe and further afield. So that's the main focus, right?
Dope.
For my part, is growing M.A.D Culture as a brand.
Yep.
And expanding the various elements, whether it be the recording music, the live shows, the merch, the podcasting, and the community elements. And there's going to be some visual art as well.
Sick.
Expanding those things, getting them as much exposure as I can and as I can contribute to, and as we can as a brand. Getting it as big as possible. Taking the steps, responsible steps, towards growing the M.A.D Culture audience as a brand, which will obviously in turn grow our respective audiences, but also help the other people who are looking for a place to fit in. Like, we're not part of the music industry, we're just musicians. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do want to give people a place to look to where it's, here's just some people who want to make good music, put out good music. And if you want to be a part of that, I'm sure there's a place that you'll be able to fit in there. Whether it be as part of the community and the community events, whether digitally or in real life, or if it's as an artist or a collaborator or a producer or a videographer or a visual artist. But
you're being the change you want to see, though, innit?
Exactly it. And it's Louis Ray is the guy it's his birth child, right? It's like his creation. He came to us and he said, this is what I want to do. This is how and why I want you involved. And I was just like,
on it.
You know what? It makes a lot of sense. And he's the type of guy, Louis Bear, is that he's similar to myself in that he doesn't want to do things for the sake of doing them.
Word.
He's only going to do it if he believes in it. And I just trusted him enough. And so at the moment, we've done one show in London, at Stereo, which was a lot of fun. And thank you to everybody who came out. This short tour, like I say, the circumstances to which it came about are quite interesting, and I'll probably expand on that once I've spoken to the guys a little bit more about what we can and can't say. But it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be our inaugural mini tour. Next year, there's going to be a lot more dates announced.
Sick.
And
I'm going to come through if I can, if I'm there for the date.
My personal two of my personal goals are, outside of obviously trying to build up a larger audience and gain more support nationally and internationally for my music and my personal ventures. Obviously, guitar was like my first love. Before I started rapping, I started playing guitar, right?
Yeah.
I want And I can play a lot of different styles of guitar, right? But I have a certain style which I feel is recognizable. Like if I play, this type of thing that I play when I'm playing on my stuff or improvising on my own stuff, has a certain sound to it.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of, production for different artists, which some people don't know about, some people know about.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of albums which are going to be coming out over the next year, which I'll be announcing soon, which are my productions with different singers on.
Dope.
And one of my main goals is to influence the sound of this next generation of music across all genres.
Yeah.
The same way Jimi Hendrix influenced his generation of rock guitarists.
Yeah. You want to influence?
I want to influence a generation of guitarists. I want to influence a generation of musicians. Right,
Love that.
in the sound, to embrace this kind of sound, right? Because I believe it has a place in that.
Yeah.
It's a large goal, to say I want to influence
but it's
a generation
good thing to set your
guitarists.
sights on. Amazing.
The way I see it is, it's not cool. These days, a lot of people don't think it's cool to play an instrument like the guitar or the violin, for example,
Yeah.
And so it seems to me, from my perspective, a lot of people playing instruments these days are like fairly well off, middle class type of.
They've been able to afford piano lessons or whatever.
Yeah,
as a kid,
people who spend, people who have the leeway to do it, and like they're not under the same pressures of is it cool or not or whatever. They're just like, it's more of a nurtured process, cultured, as they would like to say, right?
Yeah.
For me, I just see that, I would like it to be accessible for people to learn an instrument like the guitar.
Yeah.
And regardless of what genre you want to play in, right?
Yeah.
You should be able to and encouraged to learn to play and nurture your skills to the point where you may be able to find a career where you can use those skills, right? Because I was never presented with that opportunity.
No.
And because I didn't sort of try and, I could have tried to make that opportunity for myself, right?
Yeah.
But I want to give the opportunity to other people and influence people to say, okay, you don't have to play heavy metal music to be a guitarist. You don't have to play Ed Sheeran music to be a guitarist, right? You can play what you want, right? And that's why I like to integrate it so much into my hip hop and my productions in various different genres, because I'm like, there's been a whole stigma about guitar music and guitar-based music where it's like,
it's not like that.
I don't believe it.
Yeah,
I just don't believe it.
you.
I believe you can make any music good.
Make classical
with
music
guitar.
with a guitar,
Exactly.
Make everything in between.
believe, yeah.
100%.
And so, my goal is to
Do that
influence a generation of musicians, guitarists specifically.
Yeah. I think you've got it in you, bro.
And
I think you're going to manage that.
The sound that I'm trying to develop, like, everybody's trying to come up with, people to talk about branding and stuff like that. Listen.
The sound's the brand.
If you can find me, and this is a direct question, and I don't like to brag. I know there's great guitarists, there's better guitarists than me out there, right?
Yep.
I know there's great rappers. There's rappers which I'm sure many people think are much better than me out there, right? Yep. If you can find me one, does both to the same sort of level.
I agree, it's extremely
I'll
unique.
I'll wait.
Yeah,
I've not found one yet.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, that's my brand. That's why I don't really care about branding, because like, whatever, just wait and see.
You're bringing it with the music as it is. Man.
Because there isn't a rapper who can play guitar this good.
Nah, definitely
who's as
not.
good as rapping at this. There's not a guitarist who can rap this good, who's as good as playing guitar with this.
Super unique with it, man.
That is my, people are always asking me like, you need to brand yourself, go on social media.
That's your fucking brand.
That's
what it is,
I've said it now. Like I say, I don't mean to come across as
not about that.
as arrogant, but that's how I see it, and that's why I believe in it. Yeah.
Oliver Rees, it's been challenging conditions, loud ass trains, my shitty ass fucking chair, and the really beating down sun. But it's been amazing to talk to you, man. Thank you so much for spending the time to chat to me today, brother. And
nice one, man.
Big up
Appreciate
for the future, man.
Big up.
So there we go, Oliver Rees. Felt like we could have gone on for even longer than we did, and we went on forever. But get the guy on talking about cooking, and he'll go off on one. Get him on music, he'll go off on one, and rightly so as well. A passionate dude, an extremely talented guy. Go and support M.A.D Culture, and go and support his music. And until next time, big up.